Hello everyone, you are on my channel about immigration and software development, and today we have an interesting person. It's Andrey G. Please welcome him. So he's a senior software engineer at Meta. Meta is an ex-Facebook, and today we're gonna talk about immigration to the UK. So generally there are two ways of immigration. It's employer-based and exceptional global visa talent. And Andrey will share how to get this global talent visa. He will share his experience and everything you need to know to get this visa. So welcome, Andrey. Andrey, could you please introduce yourself and...
Hey guys, so well, first of all, I'd like to save you some pain of pronouncing my last name, let alone memorizing it. Let's call it just G, Andrey G. That should be much easier for pretty much everyone. I'm a software engineer from Meta. I'm working full-time on Flipper. Some of you might have heard about it. Yeah, don't judge us based on the crushes that we have. We really try to make Electron work well. So I'm from the middle of nowhere in Russia. I used to dream about being a musician, and I tried to pursue a career in music for almost 5 years before I kind of realized that I'm an engineer. I love figuring out how stuff works, and that's gonna be my bread and butter for the next couple of decades at least.
What about your background, your previous employers, your education, and etc., just to understand?
Oh yeah, sure. So I started working at software consultancies. I doubt you know the names, but nevertheless, DSR Corporation, Data Art, they're kind of big regional consultancies in Russia. However, I would doubt that many people know them outside of Russia. After that, I started working remotely for various American startups. I started with Hazelcast and spent there marvelous 2 years. And I think I gained a lot during that time, leading front-end development at Hazelcast. And during that time, I also got a chance to start my public speaking career, and maybe you even saw one of my talks. If you didn't, go and see it.
Yeah, the links are down below.
So after Hazelcast, I worked for half a year at Bricks. They are kind of unknown yet, but hopefully one day I'll be able to brag that I kind of bootstrapped the front end there, well, in some way. And by the way, they're hiring. And last, here we are, I'm working at Meta, working full-time on Flipper, trying to make it crashless, and bringing awesome new features to hopefully your favorite mobile debugging platform.
And what about your total experience? Is it around 8 years?
I would say less. I think I'm closing on 7, 6, somewhere around that.
Sounds good.
Number.
So right now you're working for Meta. It's a really big company. They provide visa sponsorship. So why did you decide to get a global talent visa? What's the benefits?
And here you go, another link in description. Well, yeah, I kind of wrote a small article about that, but essentially the biggest benefit is that you can start your own business. So while you're an unskilled worker, you kind of can start your own business, but it's limited, and I didn't find any straightforward guides on how to do that and what exactly is allowed and what exactly is not allowed. And I don't really speak lawyer, so I didn't want to contact lawyer because I wouldn't understand them. So an alternative is to get global talent visa where you can do anything you want. You can go hike in the wilderness for half a year. You can go work for somebody. You can go work for yourself. Pretty much absolute freedom. And on top of that, you get your, well, the path to citizenship and your permanent leave to remain is much shorter on global talent visa. It's 3 years instead of 5 on skilled workers, so that also helps.
So it's 2 years. You can save 2 years on.
Yeah, you can save 2 years to get your ILR.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so now we can understand your motivation. So what's the path? What do you need? What kind of talent do you need to get this visa?
Well, basically, you just need a stainless steel ass to contribute to open source outside of your work and do some conferences and stuff, or maybe some academic publications, and that's about it. So for me, I was really lucky to do plenty of conferences back at Hazelcast, which helped me to build up my profile. I was once again really lucky to have great engineers around me who constantly contributed to open source, and that kind of seemed uncool not to contribute to open source when everybody around you does something. So it kind of forced me to maintain a couple of libraries out there. And well, what else? One other thing that hopefully helped, I mean, I can only think and I can only assume what really helped. It's just the only thing that I know that is that my application went through. But what kind of factors helped that application to go through, I don't really know. So presumably, one other factor was mentorship. I didn't do much, to be honest, in terms of direct mentorship, but I wrote about career development, some education in computer science, so well, mostly blogging. I linked it there, and I also I once taught a course at my local university back in Russia, and I also started our local JavaScript community back in Russia, VRJS Voronezh. Yeah, once again, sorry for the Cyrillic name.
Sounds good. So let's say you have all of these, or maybe just several. What should I do? How can I get this visa?
So basically, the way it works is that you, well, to be honest, formally there are 2 ways. You can get a recognized award from Royal Society. Sorry, recognized by Royal Society.
What does it mean?
I don't really know, to be honest. I looked up the list. It was really short, and I kind of assumed that the awards there, they are mostly academic, and they're kind of on the level of Nobel Prize-ish. Okay. So it was clear for me that it was not the route that I need to pursue. And another way is that you have to convince some sort of a jury, the organization called Tech Nation, that you're a talent. They have a pretty clear list of criteria that you have to meet, and you submit your application to them, pay some money, around £450. They review your application based on the criteria, and there you go. If they endorse you, then you submit your endorsement along with some boring legal documents like visa applications, where you answer if you're a terrorist or not and stuff like that. And after that, you should be getting your visa.
Okay, I have a friend of mine who recently also got this visa, and he used lawyers to help him. How do you think? Is it useful? Do you need actually lawyers to get this?
Well, I got my endorsement myself, and after that, now after I get my endorsement, I get a chance to consult with lawyers, and actually they're going to submit my visa application for me after I pre-fill it for them. Well, based on the data that I saw in that visa application, that shouldn't be too hard to submit it yourself. And I also have a friend who went through the entire procedure on his own, so it's totally doable. At least the first part is totally doable based on my experience.
Okay, and what kind of improvements do you need? So you said that you are from middle of nowhere, from another country, so how can you get improvements of your talents?
So, well, speaking about proof, basically what you submit is your statement of purpose. you tell the committee, you tell Tech Nation your story, your background, what you plan to do in the UK if you're endorsed, where you plan to live, how the UK is going to benefit from having you inside of the country. Actually, they have a detailed list of questions they want to be answered on their website. So you just have to answer all of these questions in an essay under 700 words, I think. Second thing that you need is 3 letters of recommendation. They have to come from senior members of various organizations that you used to be associated with, for instance, your previous work.
Senior members, what does it mean? Is it just
I
elite?
have no idea what it means. I just kind of assumed that it meant as senior managers as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to ask Mark Zuckerberg to write my recommendation because he has no idea whatsoever who I am, right? So I thought that the best ratio between knowing my work and being as senior as possible, to have to look as good as possible on paper, would be skip level managers. So I asked my skip level manager at Meta, I asked my skip level manager back at Hazelcast, and I asked my CEO from Bricks. So yeah, he is a CEO, but it's a small startup, so he knows directly what I used to work on.
Okay. What about, do you have any examples of motivation? Why do you need this visa? So they may have a reasonable question. So you already have a skilled worker visa, you're already in the UK. So why do you need this visa?
Actually, they ask this very question. I mean, well, in your personal statement, one of the questions that you need to answer is why you need this visa and why do you want to come to the UK? And for me, the answer was business. Eventually, I'd like to start my own thing and probably do it in parallel with Meta. And I have no idea if it's possible on skilled worker or not. All I know that it's going to be challenging as skilled worker. So that was the primary reasoning for me.
Is it even possible? I mean, you have a contract, so do you need some kind of approval from your manager to start your...
Yeah, at Meta you have to, well, as far as I remember, you can start your own business, but you have to get approval from some sort of a body. I don't even remember which one.
So you collected all these documents, and what about timelines?
Yeah, actually, it's not the complete list of documents. So I mentioned statement of purpose, I mentioned letters of recommendation. And one last thing is that you have 4 criteria, optional criteria that you have to match, and 1 mandatory criteria. They sound kind of similar, and out of these 4 optional criteria, you have to pick 2. And you have to explicitly state in your application which ones they should consider you for. So once you do that, you attach up to 10 documents, up to 10 3-page PDFs, proving that you match these criteria. And in these documents, you can do pretty much anything that you want. I assembled some links, attached some screenshots, and added some text explaining the context, saying what exactly the committee is looking for.
Can you reuse your achievements for different criteria? Let's say you have a GitHub account. Can you use this GitHub for several criteria?
Yeah, that's what makes it so much easier. You can reuse your proofs and your documents between different criteria. And for me, I think the intersection was about 70–80%. So it was pretty much the same list of documents for every criteria, but it worked.
Okay. And what was the total number of pages you have?
So yeah, I submitted all 10 documents. I kind of wanted to submit 9 at first, but then I thought that, well, what the heck? I have 1 document left to kind of reach this limit, so why not? Why not? Why shouldn't I add something else?
So is it something like 30 pages?
Yeah, so it's 30 pages of documents with proofs. It's 1 page of personal statement, and 3 pages with letters of recommendation.
Okay, so based on your experience, how much time do you need to fill all of these documents?
I think I spent my entire weekend collecting the proofs, and I spent around 2-3 weeks collecting references from various people. I mean, letters of recommendation. I didn't spend that time actively pursuing them. It just takes time for other people to write these letters for you.
Okay, I see. So you submitted all these documents, and how long did you wait?
So I think it took me 3.5 weeks to get my decision.
Not so bad.
Yeah,
I'm
and
surprised.
Yeah, they also have a fast track option where you should be getting your decision faster, but I don't think that 3.5 weeks for the standard route is too bad.
Okay, so what about your current employer? What kind of help did you get from them?
Yeah, so Meta, they say that the process, so I had to get my endorsement myself, but once I get my endorsement, I can get help from our company lawyer.
Okay, so how it looks like? What kind of help? Is it just they reviewed your documents or?
They started the procedure for me, and they sent me a list of documents that I need to provide. I uploaded it to their portal. I pre-filled the visa application, and that's it so far. And hopefully, they'll just review the visa application, attach documents in the correct format, add some lawyer mumbo jumbo magic words on top of that, and that's gonna be it.
And you mentioned that you should pay around £400.
Yeah, 452, I think,
Okay.
for the endorsement application.
Do you have any other expenses?
Maybe based on the website at www.gov.uk, you should be paying around 150 for the visa application itself, and you also, the majority of what you pay comes from healthcare surcharge. And I don't really remember the exact number there, but it's pretty substantial.
Okay, okay, I see. So, what's your next step?
Wait for my lawyer to submit the application and get the visa itself. Hopefully, well, based on my expectations, I think I should be getting my visa in 2 weeks or so, and then it's gonna take 1 more week to get a new BRP.
Okay, so can you do all these steps inside the UK or?
Yeah, you can apply for a visa renewal, well, for switching visa types from inside of the UK.
Do you need something like re-enter the UK to
No,
activate
nothing
this
like
visa? Nothing? Okay, this sounds really good. So let's say you will get this visa. I hope it will be very soon. So what's your plans?
No plans really, just be happy. Live a long, happy life.
So,
Well, to be honest, I don't have like any imminent plans to start my own thing. I just thought that it would be nice to have that possibility to start my own thing eventually. And I even mentioned it on my application. So, well, while working at Meta, I built all this vast network of connections. I meet new awesome people like you, and who knows where it might lead.
okay, have you heard about O1 visa?
In the US?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans to get this visa?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, that was kind of too emotional, right? So, I wouldn't say heck no, but I would say that I'm a bit doubtful that I'm going to move to the US anytime soon. It's just, I kind of don't like the feeling that moving to a country that doesn't really want me there. So in the UK, they have a very open and clear immigration policy. And in the US, we have, well, what's the problem with the UK?
In UK, if you are in tech, then yes, but it's you are out of tech, then it's really hard to get to the UK. Like in Canada, you have a really good immigration program for everyone, but in the UK, I don't think this is.
So in fact, global talent visa, it applies not only for the tech workers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do remember that people from arts and culture and architecture, they can get this visa as well. I wouldn't be so sure about skilled work like you say, but global talent visa applies not only for tech workers, that's for sure. And well, luckily I'm in tech, so I can speak only about tech because that's what I know. And well, in the US we have H-1B, where you have this terrible lottery and your spouse cannot work for a long time. So basically, unless they are okay with being a house partner, that would be an appropriate way to call a housewife based on, well, a gender neutral housewife. House partner? Probably. House partner, okay. So they won't have a chance to work or study. The same thing with O1. If you're recognized as a talent in the US, once again, your partner can't study or work in the US. And the only thing that makes them, that helps them get the work permit is L1, where you're attached to your employer. So probably, I mean, with the current state of things, I would say that the only way for me to come to the US would be a really, really sweet job offer, which would make all this inconveniences go away, or at least make me close my eyes on these inconveniences. Or if I ever get so much recognition that I can get my talent green card right away. I mean, I heard that people can get their green card even without O1. They can apply directly for the green card, but probably that implies winning a Nobel Prize. So I'm doubtful that that's ever going to be an option.
Yeah, this makes sense. I see what you are talking about. Okay, so I will add all the links below in the comments. So yeah, please check all the information up there. And it was Andrey, G, and Artem. So yeah, we'll see you the next time. Bye.